Janmina Krishnaya Yadavindraya Jnanamudraya Yogini Nathaya Punishaya Vedanta Vedini Buddhidhanam Yashodhairyam Nirbhayatva Arogata Ajatyam Vakvatvancha Hanumatsmara Ujjaya Raghvendraya Satyadharmarataaya Cha Bhajatam Kalpurukshaya Maharam Kamani Sri Vadaraja. In the first place, actually, I would like to thank Sri Rama and his Srimati for arranging all this and hosting us. They've been phenomenal hosts, so I just want to thank you for doing that. I have a confession to make at the outset. I'm not some great scholar or something, I'm just an ordinary person. However, Acharya Rudra said, in spite of being one of the three Acharyas that in recent times, in the last 1200 years or so, Acharya Shankara, Acharya Ramanuja, and Acharya Mukund, they gave three different interpretations, but in spite of being a Acharya Purusha of that caliber, he made one statement, Naham Karta Hare Karta. They said, I didn't do anything, Shri Hari did everything. And my good fortune is that I'm able to, that he uses me in his puja. I always tell people who listen to me that those of us who walk around, it's not about labels. I don't believe in labels that much. But those of us who walk around, call ourselves followers of those people we say on the wall there. When our Adi Guru said that Naham Karta Hare Karta, I would be an idiot to say that I did something or I know something. I don't have that feeling at all. But I also found something along the way in this life, is that if one sincerely and honestly, the honesty within ourselves, I'm not about blurting out truth to other people. I'm about being honest with myself internally. If I stick to those values, after some initial hurdles and all that, we do get this energy flowing through us. I cannot create energy. There are many scientists here, that none of us can create energy. The question is, where does it come from? Where is it going? Is the question. I will try to give you my. I feel kind of bad that I'm sitting at a height compared to you, because I don't think I need to sit. I wish I was at the same height as you. But I'll give you my version of it. You may agree with that, I don't know, but at least I'll share with you what my thoughts are. But before I do that, please allow me to take 10-15 minutes to share with you the history of our manuscripts in our, what is not India of today, but what normally they call Indian subcontinent. Right? I just want to share with you what has happened in the last 100 to 150 years and what might do, we have a foundation, what we're attempting to do in that regard. So let me just share that with you. And after that, I'll come back and try to answer the question that I asked myself. In 1906, as you know, Banaras was a big learning center. It still is. But if you go back 150 years, there were a lot of scholars there, and as you might have also known, our methodology in preservation of knowledge is different from what you find today, not only in the West but also in our own country. The way it used to happen is that I'm talking about manuscripts. Right? The manuscripts used to be with some guru, some teacher, some pandit, and oftentimes it would stay in his or her house, and it would be in the family and so on. That's just the way it was, and it still is actually in many places. There was a gentleman by the name of Shishya, who was the Prime Minister of Nepal at that time, in 1906. The British gave him a commission, meaning they gave him some money and all that, and asked him to go to Kashi, go to Banaras, and buy as many manuscripts as possible. And the reason they did that was if the British went directly, some of these pandits were, they came from Orthodox background, and there was no, they did not just walk into their house and all that, so there is some insulation there. So they sent this guy, Chandrakant. He took his commission very seriously and went to Banaras and bought a lot of manuscripts. This is on Ayurveda, this is on Siddhanta, you name it. Anything you could grab. So he offered in those days, 8 annas, 1 rupee, which is a lot of money in those days. Right? And he bought lots and lots of manuscripts. So he brought all that and gave it to the British for commission in Garuda. And that collection ended up in Bodleian Library in Oxford University, where it still resides. If you go to Bodleian Library, you go to the basement, as you're walking down the stairs, there's a huge picture like the driving Swami picture there, almost that size, of this gentleman, it says Sir Chandrakant Shurya. They knighted him for that. He became Sir Chandrakant Shurya. And all of those manuscripts to this day, for more than 110 years, it resides in the Bodleian Library. If you and I go there, we cannot access that. You cannot just go and get the manuscript and read it. If you're a professor in Oxford University, you have access to that. Okay. I found out about this in a study as a MD, medical doctor, who was in London for a long time. The gentleman is retired, and he tried to access him. He was looking, after retirement, he was looking for Ayurveda. This is a doctor. So he's originally from Kashmir. So he came to India, he came to Kashmir looking for So some of the people told him, what are you doing, man? I mean, you're sitting right next to it's all in Oxford, why are you something here? So he went back and found out that they would not let him see that. And he found out that there was an article that had come out in BBC at that time about something I had done. So he contacted me, he contacted me and told me about this collection. I've been to Oxford 3 times and tried to bring these things back to our country. When I say our country, I have 2 countries. I'm an American citizen, but I'm also originally from India. And so bring it back to India. So there was, when I had these discussions with these people, the catalog, by the way, they gave me, there were 2 copies of the catalog. Some of you might have heard of Max Muller, who was a very famous German philosopher. The British, because they could not figure out what's in these. You have to understand most of these manuscripts, the language is Sanskrit, but the lipi is different. It could be in Sharda lipi, depends on which part of the country it comes. It could be Nagari, it would come from Nepal side, Nepali, various scripts. Okay? So they could not figure out what the heck this is. So they commissioned Max Muller and another student of his to create a catalog, just create a catalog of this. So they can do that. So there are big books about this big, and then two thick books like this, and I have a copy of it, by the way. Right? All of that stuff. I'll give you one example. The oldest part, when I say part, I mean the oldest version manuscript of Bhagavad Gita, which, if you're familiar with, Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita, right? What's there to say about that? But the oldest version we have in our country is only about 250, 300 years old. There is a version of Bhagavad Gita in the Mukund library in the India Institute that's over 1,000 years old. So, when I went to have discussions with these people, their thing was it's their property. They paid for it, right? They paid for it, they bought it, so it's their property. So, without being rude, it sounds a little rude, but I don't please forgive me. I'm not trying to act funny and be good or something. The manuscripts are your property, but the knowledge in this manuscript is our property. And I'm not asking you to give it back, and because I know you won't give it back. I know that. But can you at least get a digital copy of it? If you allow me, we have the technology. I work in that area, we can get that. And they would not even allow us to do that. However, they told us that, but we can do this if you pay for it. We will create the medicine to get you. If you want to get those manuscripts just in board English, just one collection of them, board English, it'll cost us, I don't know, a couple $1 million or something. Okay. I'm a professor, and I don't have money like that. But I'll tell you about 2 of the collections, okay? And I'll tell you what we're doing about it also. That's one story. Over 1,000 years ago, what happened was some of the foreign invaders would come and destroy manuscripts that actually set fire to it. So some of the Pandits, they wanted to save these things. So they took a lot of manuscripts and went to Nepal and requested the king of Nepal to protect it. They asked for protection. And in our Dharma, any Raja, right, any king, if somebody asks for refuge, they are obligated to give refuge. So the king at the time said, sure, this is long time back. I'm not about recently. This is many, many centuries ago. So there is a pretty big collection of manuscripts in Nepal. In the late 70s, the German government did a project where they sent about over 24 scholars of various kinds, and they made a deal with the government of Nepal that if they allow them access to these manuscripts, they would create a microphone, they would give them a copy, and they would take a copy also. And Nepal government agreed to that. So in Frankfurt University, there is a collection of microphones. The condition was, the Nepalese government, they said that the condition was that for some 20 years or something like that, any of us could have gone there, and if you pay money for a microphone, they are obligated to give it to you, because they want to make sure that people have access. The time is up. Now they're not going to give you anything. There's a collection sitting there. There's an earthquake in Nepal recently, sometime back. Unfortunately, none of these things got destroyed. Okay. I can go on and on. You will cry. If I really tell you on this story, you'll actually start crying. And then I noticed that I am originally from Bangalore and I follow a certain line of thought. And so we have matas, like particular matas like this. And they have a lot of manuscripts too. Right? So for the last 11 years or so, something like that, 11, 12 years, I started a non-profit organization in India. It's called Garuda. And we go to all these matas and we request Swamijis to give us access to these manuscripts. And people think that you can just stick it in a Xerox machine and just scan it. It's not that simple because many of these manuscripts are very old. They're faded and you have to process it, and some of them are brittle. Over time, we have figured out how to do all these things. And we just finished a project last week, as a matter of fact. That particular collection was pretty close to 2,000 manuscripts. We just finished that. And we started a brand new project. Actually, a week ago, we started a brand new project in another Mata, Peja Mata. So we continue to do that over there. So question is, what do you do with these things? Right? In the first place, why are we doing this and what do you do with it? The reason I believe we should do this is not because you and I can, sit and read something and never read or shut a script or something like that. That's not the point. You may find in over 1 billion people in India, you may find like 25 people who can actually understand all these things. That is okay. But for those 25 people, if they don't have access to that, they will not send it. Okay? So my feeling is that we have an obligation. It's a duty and an obligation for us to save all these manuscripts for the future. That's just my personal feeling, right? And I dedicate a lot of my time, resources, money, everything for doing that. So we have started a foundation in Rochester. I'll let you know on this. And we started a foundation for the preservation of knowledge. And one side of that is we're creating a library. So what we do is Okay, so if you look at the sheet, basically, it sort of shows you this. Like it has a picture of like what a palm leaf manuscript looks like, and after processing what it looks like. We create actually physical books. That's what we do, so that people can just read. We also have a technology. My professional background is I'm a chip designer. I work in other ICDs, and that's what I do professionally. And so I come from semiconductor background. So we have a patented process where we can actually use lithography, or we can use semiconductor process to actually create this. We can take the image and put it on that, and it lasts for over 500-600 years. And you can put it in fire, nothing happens. You can put it in water, nothing happens. No matter what questions. So it's a very safe technology. That's for the long term, very long term. But for the near short term, we're creating books, and we process whatever, what other things is that people come and ask, how can we get rid of this? What can we do? Well, it costs us $15 to buy one book. Okay. Like I say, okay, it's not a big thing. You can deal with it. Yes, you can, and we'll do it. We don't need money from anybody. By the way, I'm not coming here to ask you for anything. Very, very clear up front. I'm not coming to ask anybody for anything. I'm just sharing what we are doing, that's all. There's a second aspect. That's one side of the story. There's another thing I do. We were talking about this since yesterday. We were talking with Mr. and Mrs. Ramana. And one thing I found personally is that being a professor, I deal with young people all the time. I've been doing that for 3 decades, more than 3 decades now. And these young people, I'm talking about people in their 20s, sometimes even a little younger, they come over from India, and I find that, unfortunately, they have not been taught anything at all, either in school or college or home or anywhere. The only thing they've been exposed to is the religion. The way I define religion is, if you put, like if you build a fence, okay, and you tell people you have to stay inside this fence. They say, why? Why should I stay inside this fence? Because there's terrible things outside the fence. If you go that somebody will eat you, all kinds of horrible things will happen. So you stay inside this fence. If you're somebody like me, the moment I step inside the fence, I'll jump over the fence. And most young people try to do this. You know, that on the other hand, spirituality actually, I think this is my definition, is that it's like giving wings to people so they can fly. And sometimes we're afraid of doing that because what if they fly away? That's okay. Yeah. But if you can fly up in the sky and look at the landscape, you have a much better understanding of what's going on rather than taking a two-dimensional horizontal view of the world. Okay? So spirituality actually is giving wings to these young people in the knowledge domain. And I was saying to somebody just a few minutes earlier, is that young people are in a hurry to do things. Okay, they want to accomplish, they want to do things professionally, personally, you know, they're things to do. They have ambition, they want to do things. So they're in a hurry. So you can't ask them to spend lots of time with no immediate appreciable return on that investment, right? So to give them return on investment. And I attempt to do that, and Mr. Raman was talking about some of these YouTube tips. By the way, most of my tips are not on YouTube. There is one or two on YouTube. I would say 99% of them are not on YouTube. I recently got a Shishya who is very much into hub marketing, technology, and all that. That's the reason you say all of this. I've been doing this for 20 years, and nothing ever came out anywhere. He takes this very seriously, and thanks to him, he's getting a lot of exposure all of a sudden. It's fine. But the underlying thing for me is simply this. People talk about being scientific. Right? They say, oh, it's not scientific. I want to do something. It's not scientific, and therefore, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer, whatever. And my training is in science, and therefore it's not scientific. I would challenge you that if you're truly a scientist, if you really are a scientist is the true sense of the word, right? You have to admit it's like a coin with a head and a tail. There's matter on one side and energy on the other side. I mean, you have to admit that. How can you not admit that, right? Everything, even as an engineering professor I do, is related to something material. I design a chip, I make it do something, whatever. But it's all material. It's all related to matter. And spirituality comes from spirit, right? I just driving past a church on the main road, and I was thinking that in the Christian faith they talk about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? And we can talk about the Holy Spirit, which is not that much. There are a lot of commonality in all these things. But anyway, coming back to my point, is that spirit, that energy, understanding that energy, and when we talk of energy, just like matter, you can say that matter, it doesn't matter what it is. The atom is an atom. You can say electron is an electron, right? Proton is a proton, neutron is a neutron. Yet we know that then I cannot say, and therefore, this is my conclusion, which is a stupid conclusion. Because electron is an electron, proton is a proton, neutron is a neutron, and therefore, the camera is not different from this laptop, which is not different from this. You'll say, I'm not face. My face is, I mean, crazy, obviously very different. Similarly, energy is not of one type. There are 1,001 different types of energy. The question, how do you understand that? how, because it's not something I can see. Okay? So question is, how do I understand this concept of energy? And this is what our people thought of very, very, very carefully, very deeply, and all of these manuscripts, in one way or the other, is related to that. The question is, how do I, today, sitting here, how do I take some, at least some rudimentary portion of that and share it with, and it's not just young people, it's to all of us, young, old, whatever. How do I use that in my life today? Like, how can I make sure that if I come sit here, and if some people are kind enough to drive whatever, 30, 40 miles, whatever we have done, and drive across town on a weekend to come and sit here. My question is, how can I serve you? That's my question. My question is, how can I make it worthwhile for you to come and sit here? And I cannot do that. If I take on the responsibility, oh, okay, I'll do that, you know, I've done this, I've done that. And, again, I have to go back to now. So the energy is around the question is, how do I harness that energy and how do I make sure that energy will drive this interaction for an hour or whatever we do in a manner in which it is profitable for you. It's not about me, it's about you. If it's not profitable for you, then it's a waste of time. And next time, if I come here, you want to come, you just say, that's some nonsense. You know, I don't want to drive across town to visit this guy. So that energy, understanding energy, is what it's all about, in my opinion. And if you're interested, if you do several things, you know, I do weekly production on Saturdays on the internet. And join if you want. If you're actually interested in listening to that, if you see some value in that, you're welcome to do that. We do various things, you know, the books we publish and distributed, actually free of cost, CDs, all kinds of things. So we're happy to share all that, not only with you, but if you have groups of people, like if you know people from out here, with you, some bigger group we have. Whatever, if anything that we have can be we can offer to you as a service, you know, we are happy to do that. You just have to ask. So we can share with you, send me an email, whatever. I can tell you all the things that we have. I'm more than happy to. I'll tell you the second thing I'm happy to do is that, again, going back to the young people, I'm happy to come here anytime. You don't have to pay me anything, but nothing. I have no expectations whatsoever at all. But if you find some place like this, you know, and you want to have like a one-day interactive, I don't want to sit here and like kind of stupid doing this, but if you can have an interactive thing with, say, college students or high school students, I'm happy to do that. I'm very happy to do that, you know, and whatever. I mean, you have to tell me of how I can be of service to you, rather than me sitting there saying, okay, come here and teach you something. I don't do that. But I'm happy to be of service because it is Krishna Seva. It is a Seva, not only to Bhagavanta but to Varudu Parampara. And that's basically what I do. Right? So that's about the foundation, that's about what I do. And if you want me to, I'm happy to take any one spiritual topic and share my views on that if you want. Would you like that? Yes. What did I start at the beginning? I said I'll talk about something. I said something
about
energy.
energy.
You said you asked yourself a question about where does energy come from?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I don't know how many of you have taken at least at college level course in optics. Obviously, if you have some understanding of optics. Let me just share one simple thought, very simple thought. As I sit here and as I speak and as I try to share something inside with you, And as you sit there and listen and try to get something out of that, the question is, what exactly is happening here? In terms of energy, everybody knows I'm an aspect of the mind, and other speaker says something, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about energy-wise. What is it that is coming out from me, hopefully, and what is it that is going into you, and what is it that it will result in at the end, right? Let me share my simplistic thought with you. As you know, let's talk about the reception. There's a transmitter and there's a receiver here. Let's talk about the reception end of it initially. As you know, the 5 areas that we have, sensory organs that we have in our body, all 5 of them are the top part of my body for all of us. So I may see something, I may smell something, I may taste something, I may hear something, I may touch something, right? Those are the 5 sources of information that can come into me. That process of that information gathering, if you will, and that information fed into me, going inside, question, where does it all go? Some of you are into robotics, robotics, they use a multi-sensor database to do things. They have stereo vision to gather depth and things like that. Whatever. So I'm basically doing the same thing, right? So all this information is coming in to me through these 5 areas, these 5 sensory organs. All of that information is fed into the mind, right? That's where it goes first. So it all comes into the mind first, and the mind is, all these different types of information is coming, and it's all getting merged there. And what's the first thing the mind does is ask me questions about why is it like this? Why is that? I heard at least 3 or 4 people just looking at it as I have questions for you. Well, the mind asks for questions. That's the nature of the mind to ask questions. That's what it does. Right? Then those questions. Right? It's all questions for me. But so this infinite loop that I get into, so something comes in, ask a question, to find an answer, I put it outside. That gives something. So it's an infinite loop, right? If you are into programming, you have to break that loop somehow. Somehow you can get that kind of a loop somehow, right? Otherwise it never converges. It's an entry hard problem, and it will never get out of that, right? So the question is, where can that answer come from? And the answer to that question is that it comes from what we call buddhi, the intellect. Next layer. It is a come from the intellect. I was telling them this morning that intellect is a rule-driven system. It's a logical system. So there is no maybe there. It's either yes or no, true or false, 1 or 0, right? Now, any rule-driven system, has to have rules. So for it to reach a conclusion and say, this is right, this is wrong, whatever, right? It has to have a rule. The question is, where did the rule come from? If you think again of neural nets, you have all these coefficients, you train a system, right? Like in computers, you can train systems, right? It's called perceptron of transmission. So the rules, the coefficients, the rules for reaching that conclusion can come either from outside or inside. So I can collect lots of data, like over a lifetime of people saying, and each time I get that thing, I say, okay, do this, that happens, do this, that happens, do this, that happens. So over a long time, I can create these rules. Or there's a second way. And that second way is for those rules to actually come from what we refer to as chitta, which, if you use an analogy of a computer system, that's like a hard drive. There's a hard drive with tons and tons of data. The problem with that is you have to do data mining with it. There's so much data that it's not just from this life, from all my previous whatever I kind of done. All those conclusions are there. The question is, how do I find one thing that relates to this particular question I have at this point in time? Data mining is very hard. It's very hard to do that. So if you're looking, I'm just telling you how difficult this process is, right? So let's imagine, and I'm using an analogy actually, right? Imagine that your senses are like a piece of glass, for example. Okay? Like each layer is layer after layer after layer, right? And hopefully it's not opaque because it doesn't go through. At each, I hope you don't mind if I stretch my legs, is it okay? Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but so each layer, you think of it as a piece of glass. So this light is coming and hitting that glass. So that first layer of glass is my sensory organs. What I see, what I touch, what I feel, what I smell, taste, whatever, right? As you know, light, when it goes through a piece of glass, it's going from one medium to a second medium and going back into a third medium. What happens? It bends, right? Light bends, so it's diffraction, it bends. Now, depending upon the frequency of that light, it can bend more or less. Like in a prism, right? So it can bend more or less, right? So imagine this. So I have a piece of glass here, okay, and I have like an opening. So between my sensory organs and my mind is the connection between my mind and the sensory organs is about this way. So in front of that you have this glass, which are my sensory organs, right? So depending on what hits it can get bent a little more or a little less or whatever. So the mind is only catching a part of that, isn't it? Right? Understand? It's only catching a part of that. So some frequencies will actually get lost. The light is there, but it just got lost because this thing did not catch that. Right? So already I've lost some stuff already. I've only lost it. And then it has to go through the next layer, which is the intellectual, the intellect, buddhi. The buddhi also is a layer of glass. Again, I'm using an analogy. Another layer. So I'm just thinking, whatever the mind to the little part that I got, now has to go to the next layer of glass. You have to go through all these things. So you have to go to buddhi, you have to go to chitta, and finally it has to reach me. So that experience, eventually my experience, has to go through all these layers. So it's all getting diffracted. So some frequencies are getting lost. Because I'm catching only little parts. On top of that, as if that is not bad enough. If you think of this layer of glass, if you look at glass, it can have defects in that, isn't it? So if you have a defect, what happens when light hits a defect in the glass? It scattering, right? So my manas, my buddhi, if it has defects all over the place, not only is it getting different, there's a lot of scattering, man. It's getting scattered all over the place. So imagine what I finally got is whatever is left from all the diffracted stuff and the scattered stuff. Right? This is why any interaction, It's very, there, I don't know, they wanted to use some camera and put it on YouTube or whatever. But the question is this, I can guarantee you this. This one I can guarantee you. For those of you who are sitting here, what you get, I'm saying the same thing, and hopefully if you did whatever they did right, somebody else can sit somewhere and listen to the same thing. They can look at my face, my body action, they can listen to me. Same thing. But I can guarantee you, 100% I can guarantee you that what you get is different from what they get. Why?
Direct
Energy. So again, you come back to the energy, isn't it? It's not the words. So what that means is not just the words. It's not my action, what I say, but there is another component which is the transfer of energy. That's very important too, isn't it? Very important actually. So then you say, okay, fine, that's all okay, well and good. But the question is, so if this is my problem, and if it is not just your problem, it's my problem too. Because if you look at the flip side of that, some anubhava inside, or some experience inside, something which Karthik might call knowledge. There's something inside, right? There's something inside, and you're just itching to get it out, and you just want to get it to the other person. You just desperately want to get to the other person. When you try it, now the flip side, it still has to come through all these things. It doesn't have to come out of my mouth, isn't it? So I'm distorting it, and before it even came out, it's already distorted, man. It's already, what is coming out is already distorted. Then you receive it, then the distortion's there. So if you think of, a pinpoint, a light source here, I have to ask myself, is that light source a coherent light source or not? It's going in one direction or not? If I'm confused myself to start with, suppose I'm already messed up to start with, and I'm trying to answer some questions or whatever, it's not even coherent. Right? It's already scattered. The starting point itself is already scattered, right? Now, you take a portion of that scattered thing, scatter even some more, and then capture a little part of that, and then put it up. And then at the other, you're sitting there trying to capture all these things, and at the end of the day, so what the heck happened? What actually got transferred between the two of us? So if you look at it from this optics perspective, we can also find an answer, not just defining the problem, we can find an answer also. The answer, so then how can I improve this process, if you will, of knowledge transfer? So this is where we struggle actually. When we talk to young people and all these things. It's not about me. I mean, I'm also a father, to this, grandson, I mean, it's not that I'm so I'm all knowing, I have all the answers. It's that the starting point may not even be coherent to start with. It's just the starting point is there. Look at the class is there, it's lost again. And then on top of that, you just come through all of these things. The question is, can you and I do anything at all? Is there anything we can do to improve this process in that? My answer is yes, there is. So let's go back to the glass. Okay. So what is the problem? Well, if the thickness of the glass is more, it's going to bend more. The second thing are these defects in the glass. So in each layer, take my mind for example, one layer, just one layer. Look at the manas, right? If you just look at the mind, so what can I do? What can I do? When information goes through this mind, my mind, how can I make sure that it doesn't get bent, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? So make it as thin as it possibly can. I want to make it collapse that thing, make it as thin as it can. And secondly, I want to remove all these defects if I can. So the scattering is reduced. Right? Namaskar, in our way of thought, that our wise ones told us, what process do I have? Or is there any solution to this? And the answer is that they told us that, look, let's talk about defects first. First, I have to admit that I have defects. See, you cannot remove defects if you say that I'm perfect. Yeah, great, whatever. So first, if I admit that, look, I do have defects, starting point, okay? But I have to do something about it. My only saving grace is that I just want to do something about it, right? So every one of these layers has an Abhimana Devata. If you're not a person of faith, then we are wasting time. We should talk about it anymore. But let's just take the mind for example. Let's just take mind, this one thing, right? That collapsing that we talk about is steadiness. Mind is steady. Right? And everybody says that, do meditation, do this, do that, whatever. Right? But if you take an object, and if I want to hold an object steady so it doesn't move all the time, easiest way is to tie a string or something. One from the top, one from the bottom, and pull it. You agree? Like if I take a piece of stone or something, I take two strings, and I hold the two strings and I really hold it tight. Even if you hit it, it will come back to the steady state condition very quickly, as opposed to it not being tied anywhere. Like if I tie out there at the top, it's like a pendulum with strings, right? So this manas, it has to be held from the top and from the bottom with one strength. I cannot tie a string to my mind or something. So the question is, are there strings available? And who is going to hold it tight for me? Well, I cannot do it. Who's going to do that? These Devata Shaktis are called Abhimana Devatas. Right? So for the Manas, Garuda, Rudra, and Shesha. Yes, anybody, don't believe in forest or Rams, but that's it. Garuda, Shesha, Rudra. Everybody says that. These are the three Devata Shaktis that will as Abhimana in their mind. Garuda is Veda Purusha. He's Veda Purusha. His Garuda is not like some bird is flying in the sky or something like that. Symbolism, right? So if you look at that symbol, why do you look at Vaidantaya? When you look at Garuda as someone way up in the sky? What is the property of a Garuda Pakshi, bird, right? It flies very high, very, very high. But even though it's very high, it's got extremely good eyesight. You can see something on it. It sees a little thing moving around, it's looking for food or something, it swoops down and takes it. He's Veda Purusha, because Vedic knowledge is like that. It's very, very high, it's very high level. But it can even see something at my level. If it's something that's operating at that level, I'm wandering around here, so it's supposed that what is it for me? No, there is a connection, right? So my desire, my yearning for Vedic knowledge is what is going to pull me to the top, right? If the pull was not there, I submit to you that you will be speaking. See, why would you come here? You want to sit here, like watching TV or some random thing, right? Because you have that pull, and then somebody is pulling you. Now, if that's all it is, it's like a pendulum. This is something that's only from the bottom also. That Devata Shakti from the bottom is Shesha Devata. Shesha. Shesha. Shesha, if you take everything away from this, what is left to Shesha? So if you take everything away, what is okay, something we love to do. Well, there is something. And the other day, I don't know, somebody said they watched my talk in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago or something. I use number theory to explain something. And the concept of zero is Shesha. There's Ananta on this side, Ananta. There's Shesha on one side, Ananta, infinity on one side, zero on the other side. Right? That Shesha in me, in my mind, is something that would pull me towards zero. Something that its gravitational pull, it pulls me forward if Anugraha Shesha is there. So, what is this pulling towards? On one side, you're being pulled towards the Vedas, the knowledge. On the other side, saying that I'm nothing. I'm nothing. So that realization that I'm nothing, I'm not a good shot, I'm nothing, I'm an idiot, I know nothing, I'm not anything. So that humility pulls you down from the other side. So, a steady mind is one which is a confluence of this pull, the gravitational pull towards realizing how small we are in this universe. Come on, man. I mean, just, you go up in the plane, go up to 30,000 feet, you look down, and you see that all these hundreds of thousands of homes, right? And in each home, there's a family living there that, it's very important to doing all kinds of things. And so you go to every home, they're also thinking the same thing, right? And I'm sitting there looking at it. So I'm going to land in 2 hours and I'll go to my house and I'll think the same thing too. So, if you think of how small I am, actually, it's beautiful. I'm nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. Right? That realization of pull towards zero, isn't it a beautiful thing? So if your mind is the confluence of this humility and this desire for yathartha jnana, not any knowledge, yathartha jnana, Vedic knowledge, right? So the pull towards Vedic knowledge is humility, then your mind is in this state. And that translates to that layer of glass being very thin. Make sense? But, okay, I think that's something. What about the defects, the scattering? What it is? Well, the scattering is because of defects. Right? I cannot remove the defects. It will be silly on my part to think that I'll sit and remove all the defects. I'll meditate, do some random thing, I'll put some coconut, and put some flowers. Yeah, I can do all that. That's okay. That's not going to remove anything. That's really kind of unfortunately. So what I can do, there's a solution for that as well. The Abhimana Devata of that particular order, if you look at the mind, see, we talked about Garuda, we talked about Shesha, but we forgot what? Rudra, Shiva. Shiva has grasp on my mind. Okay. So if I pray to Shiva and say, I need help, big time, I need your help, because of all these defects in my mind, and please, come and remove these defects. And if they so wish, they can remove the defects. And suddenly you'll see that the light passes right through. And then different, I can go on forever, I don't want to do that, you'll get bored. But at every layer there is Abhimana Devata. Every layer can be collapsed. And then there is the light is going right through. It's going right through. It is on the transmission side, it can come right through, and at the reception side, it can come right through. Wouldn't it be nice? Would it be really nice that if you sit and talk for an hour, at the very least, even if I say something stupid, okay, at least you realize it's stupid. If I say expectation. Why would you think the person is something very smart? I didn't understand, but he's so smart and he's a philosopher. No, I'm just something totally idiot. At least you should see that it's idiot. Whatever it's actually an idiot. You don't know, right? So you should be able to see things as they are. For what it's worth, and actually getting what is transmitted. That is a huge thing for us. And this, what people, do sometimes verses like, or fetus, sadhana, whatever. But the thing is, in this path, in this upward journey, as I'm just like, trying to climb a mountain, and I fall sometimes, scratch myself, but I want to climb the mountain. I want to see what's at the top. I want to see the view from the top. Why? Because it's there once it so I want to climb, right? So in this upward journey, as I go up and up and up and up, every single one of these things, every single one of these tools, if you will help us as we make this upward journey. This is what I feel. You don't have to agree with me. Like I said, if you think it's idiotic, you're welcome to walk by saying it's idiot. That's fine with me. This is what I see. This is what I see. This is my anubhav. And if I tell you where I come from, if you'd seen me when I was a kid, running around in Bangalore, I'd seen me a teenager, walking up and down the streets with my friends doing random things. You had seen me in my 20s doing idiotic things, in my 30s fighting and all these things. Few decades later, sitting here, talking to you about spirituality. The answer is yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? But the things I have to climb, isn't it? I have to sit somewhere and then keep looking at the mountain and say, man, I wish I could go there. And then that's how they get. If you're going to go up the mountain, can you just take a picture and send it to me? So that's, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to climb the top. There's only one way to climb. Yeah, you get scratched and you get part of it. It's okay, it's all right, it's part of the game, right? It's okay. But I suppose I've never ever in my life done any mountain climbing at all. And I go to the Himalayas. Okay, big mountain. And I said, whoa, man, what is that stuff? And I said, I'm going to go mountain climbing. You know what's going to happen. With 10 minutes of mountain, I'll figure out. Right? So I need someone who's climbed the mountain before, is currently climbing the mountain, and I go to him and say, sir, please, I'd like to climb the mountain. Then give me a few tips on how to climb, and if possible, do you mind if I tie a rope to you so I don't fall? So even if I do something simple, the rope will catch me and I can put a step again. That in this, my journey, is my connection to my Guru. A Guru, without a Guru, nobody did anything. That's my experience. Without a Guru, nothing ever happened. It's not enough. Look. Okay, use the same analogy. So there's the expert mountain climber, right? So he knows what he's doing, okay? So he's doing all the things in this mountain. So he goes like, oh man, he's my teacher. He's my teacher. I'm just look at it, right? It's not fall. He just keeps climbing. So I want him to be my teacher. But you never talk to him. Okay? You take some video of him climbing. And then I watched the video that fall. Okay, fine. I watched that thing, it's on YouTube. Yeah, I watched that thing, it's all fine. So now I'm going to climb. There's no rope connected to it, right? So if you fall, you're still going to fall. I don't care how many videos you watch. Okay? So if you want to tie that rope, you know who is to give you the rope. That guy climbed it, isn't it? The expert, you go and ask him and say, sir, please connect it. And he has to say, yes, I throw a rope at you. That you tie around you. So having a guru is not just me looking at somebody and saying, oh man, that guy is so smart. He seems to be so wise, he's amazing. And I'm going to accept him as my guru. I'm going to accept him as my guru. Whatever. Unless the guru says, I'm going to accept him as my Shishya. If I don't even know this fellow exists, right? I don't even know who he is. I don't care. He just sits somewhere and says, oh, no, he's my guru. And then somebody says, oh, you know, I talked to somebody, he said that you got his guru. So, really, who is that? I says, oh, so. I don't know, I don't even know who he is. So, this is similar to watching videos of the mountain climbers. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So you gotta. So when will that expert mountain climber throw a rope at you? Only when he thinks that you are going to do two things. Two things. So my qualification as a Shishya, just two things. One is I should really want to climb the mountain, not just say it. Not just say, it'd be nice to climb the mountain. No, so you say, you're going to fall a few times, okay? You're going to scratch your foot and all that, but it's good, and it's going to hurt by the way. Okay, your arms, your legs, are all going to hurt with climbing. So, no, that's fine. I'm sorry, I still want. That commitment is the first thing. Secondly, so the expert guy, the mountain climber, gives a rope to this guy, right? So where will this guy be? The student, the Shishya? Below the teacher, isn't it? So he looks up at him. So this poor teacher is climbing. So he looks up at him, he sees his feet. I wonder what happened if I tickle his feet. It's tempting, isn't it? Let me tickle the feet. You know what that guy is going to do? It's just an idiot, he's going to cut the rope. Yeah. So not just the commitment, but a resonating resonance with your guru. Resonance is important. It's extremely important. If resonance is not there, you don't have a guru actually. I mean, on paper you can say that, but in reality, you don't have it. There has to be, you know, in the wide spectrum of frequencies, there has to be resonance with that guy, whoever it is. If the resonance is there, if we have a guru, I took a climb. Maybe I'll fall a few times, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe I'll hurt myself, that's okay. Maybe my muscles will ache, that's okay. That's okay. Otherwise, you don't have to do this. I can sit at the bottom of the ground where the foot is and just watch and say, water is nice. You know, look at the water, it's very nice. Look at Veda, it's very nice. Oh, do you know that I come from India? Do you know they invented zero? Do you know I come from India where they did this? They did the first brain surgery. Man, I can't even put a bandage on my cut. Also, okay, somebody did this, so what's it to me, right? Okay, fine, good for them. What's it to me? Being proud of our heritage is all good, well and good. But what are we doing about it? How will we advance in this? What am I doing? What is my role? What is my role in this journey? What am I doing to make sure that something happens so that one day I get the bucket? People look back and say, you know what? Because this guy was there, my life is a little better because of this. Or society is a little better off because of him. What is my contribution? And it may be very small. It may be tiny, tiny, tiny. That's okay. That's okay. But at least that is there, isn't it? At least that is there. in the movie. So you was sitting in your seat and like some 8-10. Within 10 minutes you have friends. So then you are giving people each other something. You have this or give me a phone number. There's no phone like that. Give me an address, I'll write to you, I'll meet you on the top of that. You never know that. You found a very quick bond in a very quick time. And the reason is we are on the same journey. It's because we are the same train going to the same place, and for a while we are together. And due to that, you share something, right? And to share that, to give a little snack, to share something is why I came here. Thank you for coming and listening to me, and especially thank you so much for your wonderful, wonderful posting, and hopefully we'll meet again. Thank you.
If you are not very tired.
Hmm?
If you are not very tired.
Me? I'm not tired of talking.
Yeah,
Do I look tired?
we are enjoying talking like that, thinking about it and all this time. But anyway, if you can say a few words about Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita?
Few words about how Bhagavad Gita can help us in as this being Krishna Vrindavan.
Sure.
My name is Gita.
And my name is Mukund.
Yeah, anyway, it's about 420. And
Okay, sure. Huh?
Needed.
He wants me to drink one. I don't need it, but he wanted me to drink one. He's also my doctor, so I do whatever he says.
Tough question. Passing on the energy.
Okay. I guess the takeaway point, I can call it that. Like, if you ask me again, please understand that I'm not sitting here saying that I have all answers. But I'll just share my view. For anything to happen, for anything, it doesn't matter what. If you make a trip to Houston, if you come and meet you guys, if you drive over to whatever, for anything, the question is, I want success. At the end of the day, I want success. I don't think any of us do anything saying that, oh, let me fail. Right? Nobody does. We're not stupid. No. We all know. All of us want to succeed. Whatever it is, we want to succeed. And the question is that in the path of success, what are some of the takeaway points from Bhagavad Gita? The first thing for me is that in the first place, it's a war. The very first thing. Bhagavad Gita is in the middle of a war, right? So the first message that Shri Krishna is sending me is that, look, you're in the middle of a war. Okay? So I said, oh, okay. What war? I don't know war, I'm not fighting. Just sitting in my house, making around with that, okay, war. What war? That war that I'm in the middle is this struggle between dharma and adharma inside me, not outside, whatever outside. Inside me, I'm constantly, I don't know, sometimes I would like to do the right thing, but I don't know, I don't know if this is right, that is wrong, I really don't know. I don't know what I should fight, I don't know what I should not fight. There are some people I like a lot, there are some, forget about people, there are ideas I like a lot. Forget about people, there are some ideas that I like a lot. Because I'm always with me. It's just like Bhishma Pitama to Arjuna. There are things that took care of me from the time I was a little kid. There are concepts that took care of me since I was a little kid. I'm so attached to that because it took care of me. But just like Bhishma is on the other side. Even these things that are very dear to my heart, we are all creatures of habits. We talked some stuff this morning. Like, from the time I was a kid, and this was all of us, depending on where you grew up and which community, we all have some standard things. The parent I do this, not do this. So, okay, why? I don't know, because it's not related to whatever. Right? So we just have all these do's and don'ts, right? And that gives me a lot of comfort. If I come to this place, this is a Madhvamata. I grew up in this community. So if Swamiji comes here and gives me mantra, I feel comfortable. It's a comfort zone for me. But it may not be a comfort zone for somebody else. But some other place will be a comfort zone for them. Okay. But we all have a little comfort zones, right? But that very thing where I have my comfort zone, just like Arjuna had comfort zone with Bhishma Pitama, that very thing may be on the other side. And I look at it, oh, I can't go against this. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is my stuff, man. This is my thing. This is who I am. I was born and surrounded. First thing Shri Krishna says is, look, if I take you in front of this and say, fight, have faith in me. I will never take you to a place where you should not fight that thing. When you allow me to drive the Ratha. So if I allow him to, I'm not saying I want to go there or go, because I don't know, I don't know, right? But if I truly allow Shri Krishna, I'm saying, man, take me wherever you want. I may want to do something. It happens in life. A few years ago, I thought it was a smart thing. I started something. It didn't pan out. Whatever. You try things in life, right? Whatever. But the thing is, wherever he takes me, I can have the faith that you are Partha. You are driving my chariot. I want you to drive my chariot. I will allow you to drive my chariot. And wherever you take me out. That's the first lesson for me. The second one is inaction is not acceptable. Inaction is not acceptable. Because Arjuna was like, no, I'm not going to fight. I look at him, I'm not going to fight. Krishna says, shut up, get up and fight. That's all. So I don't have that luxury of inaction. I mean, as long as there is a breath in me, it's easy for me. I don't know whether should I come there. When I sit there, I could do right now, watching a movie with my wife or something. That's I can do. I don't know. But the thing is, inaction is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. The second thing, action, and action. Keep trying, keep doing, keep fighting. Don't stop. Never stop until when? Either the war is over or you're dead. That's it. So I'm going to say here, as long as I can move, as long as I can get up, as long as I can teach, as long as I can do something, I'm going to keep doing this. No retirement for me. The retirement is permanent retirement. So until you can do that, now until if you reach a point where you're so weak, that's very just another thing. But as long as you can do something, do what you can, whatever you can. Right? And now that as you get older, you're not going to become less and less. It's fine. That's fine. But we are all capable of doing something. And the other thing is there for me. Is that as long as you keep trying, as long as Shri Krishna is there, everything is fine. Everything is fine. I don't have to worry about it. Think. Puttiga Swamiji. I don't remember the date, but his very first visit, I was involved in organizing that visit, and he had come to our house. And so he used to do little, after the puja, he would talk for like some 5 minutes, he says something. It was small, short pravachana. Since I'm sitting here in Shravandana, I will quote Swamiji. I'm just repeating what Puttaka Swamiji said in one of his things in our house. So he told this little story, you might have heard of it, you might have even said it here. So apparently there's this guy, and then going back to our training journey, there's a big suitcase, okay, so very heavy suitcase, very good luggage. So he's putting us down, he climbs into the train. Do you say that here? Okay, he comes on the train, I say it's just a brief thing. So he comes on the train. So he's carrying this heavy suitcase on his head. And he won't put it down. He's just sitting there, holding the suitcase on his head, and the train starts moving. The ticket collector comes and looks at it. What's this idiot? He says, why are you sitting there with the suitcase on your head? And he says, oh, because I want to carry it myself. If I put it down, the train will carry it and I have to pay for that. This was obvious. So this thing is, man, when you put it on your head or put it on the train that's carrying it. Okay? And the money you have to pay, you put it on the carrier, it's the same. Right? So that ability for me to hand over this charge, it's a very difficult. We can talk about all the stories and all that, but actually implement that in life is very, very hard. It's extremely hard. To actually say, you take over. Okay? I'll go wherever. It doesn't matter how you keep me, what you do to me. I'm fine. Just don't leave me, that's all. Just don't leave me. Be with me, stay in my heart, and drive this chariot. Wherever you go, I will fight. You be the participant. And no inaction. There is no scope for inaction. That, for me, is the fundamental message of Gita. Now, we get a different shlokas, expand on that, and so on. But at the heart of it all, lack of inaction, no scope for inaction. 2, letting him drive the chariot. It's a little scary, isn't it? Like if you have, it's sort of like, I was with a student of mine just a couple of weeks ago in California, and he was driving a Tesla, right? A Tesla. So he said, I said, hey, is it true that some of these cars should drive like so? He said, yeah. You have seen it, and then he pushes something and takes his hand up and says, Acha, we're on a highway. Seriously, I'm not joking, we're on a highway. He used to zip it all the exercise and he pushes something. I said, yeah, hold it, man, hold it. It's all right. If in a little car, if it's so scary for me to hand over to the computer, imagine handing over my life to something else. But my experience is that it works just fine. He never, ever let go of me in this life. I don't think he'll ever let go of anybody in anybody's life. As long as, see, you can drive a Tesla, push that button, and still put your foot on the brake and still hold it. You can stay here, just in case that thing doesn't work. So now you got a problem because the computer is trying to do this. Now you got a problem. So you got to, oh, please write my life. And he says, hey, go to Houston. Houston. I don't want to go to Houston, let me go to Dallas. No, he says, go to Houston, go to Houston. He's not coming to judge himself. And call Rajiv and said, Rajiv, how many people will be there in Houston? He said, he was go to Houston. It's that simple. It's really that simple. It doesn't matter if even the nobody shows. I have confidence. I have the confidence. You know why I'm here? It doesn't matter if none of you show up. It's fine with me because we cannot go. Until we get on the plane tomorrow morning, he's going to sit there. I'll talk to him, I'll teach him. That's fine. Now, if some people are supposed to come, they don't. Whatever. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I actually have a bunch of questions for you.
Oops.
But I'll just stick to one, maybe, I don't know what the time is. So I understood the metaphor of that objects very well explained, by the way. I'll actually quote you when I'm doing explaining this. That's very well explained, but I have a question of the usage of the word energy. I understood it, by the way, but I think what you meant was Shakti, because energy, if you use the English word energy, that is still matter, material, because that is translated into Urja. So Urja and Shakti in Sanskrit have two different meanings. Because when you say light energy, that is still matter, right? I think what is meant was Shakti, yeah. So Dev Shakti is Shakti, but not. So Dev Shakti,
Yeah, the one
they include Urja or includes Urja, but it's something else than energy.
if I can interrupt you for 1 second. I do a lot of my so-called teaching in English. And the reason I have to do that is because I do it both in my mother tongue is Kannada, and I can do it in Kannada as well. It's so much more easier to do it in Kannada than English.
Right.
And the reason for that is, it's not because of my lack of vocabulary or command over the language. I lived in this country for over 4 decades. That's not the point. There are no equivalent words.
Right.
So you just have to find the nearest
word.
right?
I understood.
So there is some disconnect there. But we cannot help that because that's the only way I can reach out to a larger audience who don't understand my language. So you're right.
The word doesn't mean anything, the concept is what.
Yeah, but still sometimes you can get a wrong
Distinction.
Yeah. These are final details. And since you brought up the word Shakti, can I go back to Shri Krishna's thing? I think all of you know that the wise ones tell us that if something is to succeed, it requires the 3 different types of Shakti. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Ichha Shakti, again, if I have to translate in English, I would say willpower, determination, whatever, right? All those things combined together. Suppose, let's say, okay, fine, I have all that, suppose, let's assume that I have that. Because if I don't even have that, nothing's going to happen. The Jnana Shakti, it's very difficult to translate into English. Jnana Shakti. Either you understand what Jnana Shakti is or you don't. If I try to translate that to English, to say, oh, knowledge power, power of knowledge. That's not really Jnana Shakti because here's the reason why. At least for me, Jnana is not knowledge. Right? It's not knowledge. Jnana, look, you can have yathartha jnana, or viparita jnana, or ajnana. Right? A lot of times people say that, oh, ajnana is lack of jnana. Absence of jnana is ajnana. No, the opposite of yathartha jnana is ajnana. It's an entity in itself. It is the opposite of yathartha jnana. Right? How do you transfer all this to English? You can't. You really can't. You can try, Now, look, that doesn't mean we should stop, like this gentleman said. It doesn't mean we should share anything. We can find close enough words and try to get the concept across rather than a specific word or something. But going back to Shri Krishna, Kriya Shakti, at the end of the day, I want to do something and I have the knowledge like Guru Parampara, that lineage of wise ones might have given me the knowledge also, yeah, also. Let's assume that's all happened. But still, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen, because creation has to be there, right? The creation, again in English, the way I explain it is, we use this phrase in English that things falling into place, right? Things have to fall into place. Right? So things falling into place is not random. It's not random, there's nothing like that. It may appear to be random if my data set is small enough where I cannot see all the other connections, that's all. So suppose I say, if you are into graph theory, right? In graph theory, Acharya Bhattacharya, that, you know, I'm paraphrasing, of course, he did use this phrase, but Acharya Bhattacharya said the world is a complete graph. Okay? And you understand graph theory, that means that every node in the graph is connected to every other node in the graph. There's an arc. Okay? Every node. Then you say, so how many such nodes are there? Infinite number. There's a complete, try to wrap your mind around this thing, okay? Seriously, try to wrap around your mind, to blow your mind. So the world is an infinite graph with infinite number of nodes, but it's a complete graph. So how many arcs are there? Infinite number of graphs, infinite number of arcs. Right? That is the universe. Everything is connected to everything else. Everything else is the universe. He said that, right? And again, I'm paraphrasing in English, but the concept is pointing to Acharya Bhattacharya. Anyway, my eyes keep going there. I cannot help it. I'm so fascinated by him that the story. I keep going, keeps going there. But this creation, who will give creation? How will look? If you have infinite number of nodes with infinite number of arcs in this complete graph, we call Vishwa. If that is true, who can control all the arcs? Only that Ananta is. That makes sense? Only Ananta can control the Ananta number of infinite number of those arcs. Which means that Kriya Shakti, makes sense? That Kriya Shakti can only come from that infinity. It cannot also because it's connected to infinite number of things. Who else but infinity can control the infinite number of things? That means the creation can only come from Shri Krishna. Nobody else. Nobody else. Then so what do I do? Okay, so this is a very nice. I like this auditorium. You know why? First thing I see here is Garuda Swami. And my eyes go a little bit that I see this bright picture of Acharya Madhva. My eyes wander that way and I see my favorite Guru Krishna. Hey, what more do you want? Seriously, what more do you want? I don't want anything else. Really. That's fine for me. That's all I want. I have nothing else. But the Kriya Shakti. So if I go to him and say, give me the creation, I want to do something. I want to give me the creation. So, just because I don't ask, what should you do? Just because I ask, it's like, no, I'll come to the temple, okay? I'll sit and chant something. I'll do all these things, I'll do all these things. I'll put the money in the roti, I'll do all these things. Give me pay. No. It doesn't work that way. Then what do I do? Well, just as we're talking about students, and yet people looking for return on investment, if some silly student is going to look for return on investment, he's going to also look for return on investment, isn't it? So if he gives you a little creation, the question is, how many people are going to benefit from that? Just me? Just my family? Just my Shishya? Or people at large? the greater the number of people who are going to benefit in a positive way from that creation, the more he'll give it to you. Right? And therefore, again, we circle and go back to the same point. It's said, what is this? Hare Krishna. What is this? What is this? Right? So if he gives a Kriya Shakti also, then how can anybody not succeed in anything? Seriously, how can you not succeed? If he prevents you from doing that, that means he's the Parthasat who said, don't go there, maybe you're going to fall into a ditch. He said, no, I want to take my child, but there is a ditch, don't go there, stop it, so don't go there, I want to go there. So when he slaps something and he takes back the creation, he holds back on those laga, the reins, pulls the reins, right? He's doing it because he doesn't want you to go in the direction, you're supposed to go to the right and left. As always the Western said, if you run into a brick wall, don't keep on hitting your head on the wall. That means if the right forces put the brick wall in front of you, they're trying to tell you that you have to make it to the left or not the right turn. Because you don't understand that. The sender says, turn right. Say no. Turn right. I said, no. So what do you do? Put a black and say, idiot, turn right. How many times I tell you make a right turn? And that to me is creation. That guidance, taking in the right direction. At the end of the day, as long as he's with me, wherever I go is the right place. This is what we all propose to me. So,
Thank you.